My fault, y'all. My fault. My fault. I'm back. Your boy is back. Babe! Share this. Share the live. And tag Creek Squad or whoever. Tag whoever you want. Alright. Yeah, thanks to the wifey for looking out and coming to tell me that my video was not showing the audio of what I was showing. So if you're in here, if you're in the chat, man, let me know. I don't think I'm going to have that problem again. Oh, boy. I'll wait a couple minutes. Let everybody get in here. Which color do I want? Alright. I'm going to give a rundown of what I was kind of talking about before I jump right back into the video. If you guys have not seen any of this on Upchurch, man, go check it out. Go check it out for sure, man. He's got some really good theories on this. I just want to add my points where I see it. I agree. I think this girl's somewhere where she's not supposed to be, obviously. I don't think she ran away. Kind of touching on what I was just live a minute ago. Sorry for anybody that didn't have no audio. Apologize. Anyway, I feel like something serious happened to this girl. They all got a little nervous and created this party. But I want to touch on what he talks about in this video because a lot of this is important. And I noticed a couple things that church did not touch on, and I want to point those out.
Okay, a 16-year-old girl went to a party. She's gone. Not only is she gone, the car that she drove to the party in is also gone. The only people who knew about her and talked to her and seen her during this time is Jagger, the ex-boyfriend.
At 10:30, she responded to what I was saying and just said, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're going through that."
Yo, and the cool thing about him, that dude's honest. You could look at him, you could hear it in his voice, you get the vibe from him, he's telling the truth. Like immediately. He's telling the truth. I believe him, I believe what he's saying. 100%. But then the crazy part is that he's not tainted. So obviously he spoke to her. It doesn't seem like he has much contact with the other parties. It sounded like he was in a completely different town, doing his own thing with his dad, chilling, not bothering nobody. So it doesn't seem like he has a lot of connection to this group of people. And that may be why it's an ex-girlfriend. I don't know, but I believe this dude.
And that was the last marriage night.
Kate, the girl who made creme brulee with her.
The day of the party, I hung out with her. We made creme brulee. Everything was normal.
Sammy, the girl who seen her when she got...
Yo, what was the importance of making creme brulee? I feel like that girl was an immediate, hey, I got a bunch of money, whatever, I'm going to flaunt what I'm making. Why couldn't you just say making some food? Making whatever. So it kind of just shows, their character. It seems like they've grown up in money, they've really never had to worry about nothing, and money could solve all their problems. So I'll get to more of that as we go.
To the party and was the last person to see her.
Yes, I was the last person to contact her after the party, and I was with her basically throughout.
Hey, how do you know you were the last person? How do you know that you were the last person that contacted her? That's the crazy thing that I don't... That's where immediately when I heard her say that, I'm like, oh, you were? You were the last person to contact her after the party. That's kind of crazy that she knows that she was the last person, because how do you know that if you were on the phone with this chick that she didn't hang up the phone and call somebody else, or somebody else didn't call her? So that's kind of suspect. I get the whole... Oh, I was the last person she talked to. She said I was... Well, no. Now you're solidifying that she was the last person that I talked to. I was it. Nobody else after me. No, something's off.
The entire party.
Then you got Megs, the chick who rode there with her, and then left 10 minutes later.
Within the only 10 minutes that I was there, I literally had a group of 5 guys try to come get me to take as many, bong rips as I could.
All right, let's start with Jack.
They were making me take as many bong rips as I could. That girl looks like she took a bunch of bong rips on her own, but she was smoking a different bong. And I hate to judge somebody like that, but damn, bro, we're in a kidnapping, possible homicide situation, and this girl is gonna try to convince everybody with her eyes glossed over, her eyes low. It could be acne, but it could also be meth. She could be using meth. They were talking about cocaine usage. They were talking about a lot of different things that they were pointing the finger at this girl for doing. Well, why are they all hanging out with her? If she's this drug addict, alcoholic, why were they with her? Like, that points, that raises the suspicion level a lot on their end, because if they're all, high and mighty and drugs are this and she's a drug addict doing drugs, hanging out with wrong people, why are you with her?
I don't think Jagger did shit. I think Jagger's
Facts.
innocent. I think Kate Kuno is innocent as well. Some people think it's weird that he was like, hey, if you find out anything, call my number. I can filter through stuff. Personally, I don't think that's weird.
That's also trying to be a man in that situation, man. You don't know. This kid could have been trying to fight for his relationship back with this female, and he felt like, oh, if I stand up for her and I put my foot out and say, hey, if y'all know where she is, let me know, because I'm going to come. That's just male intuition. Like, that's just a man. That's what I would say. He's just defending his, or what he thinks is his, or what he wants to be his. Like, I'd agree with Church. I don't think that has anything to do with him trying to hide evidence, or I truly believe that's just him being a man.
He's a 16-year-old kid. He listens to stuff like Suicide Boys. He probably thinks the cops don't give a fuck and ain't gonna do shit. So he's that's probably his way of being like, let me know and I'll go look. Plus the Jagger dude was 4 hours away with his dad during this time. He was nowhere near the party. And if what I seen was correct, Jagger drove all the way down to meet up with her parents the next day. You know who he didn't meet up with? All these other fucking people who were saying they were with him.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Who's the one person from around the area she went missing that Jagger is standing beside? Kate Kuno.
Kiley's close friend Kate Kuno says they spent the afternoon together on Friday, just hours before she disappeared.
Kate was with Kiley before the party. She knows more than anyone, probably. She probably knows the most. If she knows...
Wait a minute. She just said hours before she disappeared. So... what is hours? Like 2 hours. So this girl left her at like 10:30 and she went missing at 12:30? Huh. That could just be a news error.
...was the most. She's going to hit up Kiley's ex-boyfriend, especially if she knows he's a good guy and could help, which is why they're standing beside each other. And another thing, these other girls that are claiming to be Kiley's friend, why isn't Kate standing with them? Exactly. I don't think they've done anything. I think they're innocent. I think they're actually worried about her. Plus, if he'd done something, do you think he's going to drive straight to Mama Bear, somebody who has the best intuition about her daughter?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, this kid had the courage, and he knew he didn't do nothing wrong, and he went straight to Mama. Like, if you just did something to hurt this woman's daughter, I think he's 18 or 19. You're not gonna go directly to the parent and help. I mean, you're a sick, twisted individual, but like I said, this dude has a very honest, like, he just comes off honest, man, and I truly believe he has nothing to do with this, and he's just looking for his ex-girlfriend, man. Sucks.
No. Alright, now let's talk about Megs. She said before the party she was hanging out with Kiley. Okay, well, Kate said she was hanging out with Kiley. Why did Megs ride to the party with Kiley, stay 10 minutes, and leave?
Within the only 10 minutes that I was there,
these two groups of people don't hang out. I can guarantee you that Megs and the dude, they hang out. Like, that's their group of people. That's why he was not at the party. It wasn't that he was with his dad, man. He didn't want to be at that party. He didn't associate with the people at that party. He didn't want to be around the people at that party. And that was that. You know, females, and I nothing against women, obviously, but females tend to click up with whoever a lot. Like, even if, I don't mean it like that. I just mean it like, you go to a party, there's a lot of dudes, there's a lot of females, and there's a lot of groups. That's how I should have said it. A lot of groups of females over here, a couple of groups of guys here. These people just didn't hang out, man. They all didn't kick it together. I don't believe that. And that's why that dude was 4 hours away with his dad. He wasn't worried about a party. It wasn't a big deal to him.
Literally had a group of 5 guys try to come get me to take as many, like...
Yo, I got an idea, man. So maybe this girl was doing drugs. Maybe she just started getting and dabbling into a different lifestyle. You know, something that was wrong, illegal, whatever. And maybe the two, Meg and the other dude, were her first group of friends. You know what I mean? Like, those were the first people that she kicked it with, hung out with. And as she started getting into the drug use, here comes Sammy and the other girl. I wonder if... And that's why one of them said, hey, look, she was with me because that's like her new best friend. And Meg was like, no, I was really with her because that's her best friend. I don't know, man. This is getting a little crazy.
Bong rips as I could, like, forcefully without my boyfriend present.
So as soon as Megs gets there, within 10 minutes, she steps out of the car and everybody's like forcing her to take bong rips. No. Your boyfriend got there in 10 minutes?
Right.
Did he just drive really fast, or did you call him ahead of time and be like, hey, pick me up at this party that I'm not going to stay at. Meet you there. That seems kind of dumb, kind of, but, I mean, I guess it could happen. No. But that's one of the things that don't make sense. All this, I got picked up, I rode with this person. It's all a bunch of fuckery. You want to know how I know? Because look who the Megs girl was always with. The Sammy chick now, right? Okay. Well, Megs is telling not her story now. Now she's telling somebody else's story. I wonder whose fucking story she's telling.
A lot of older people started showing up that people didn't know. Like, a lot of drugs were involved, like drugs that we don't typically have just in parties.
Yo.
And our parties also just...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really, truly feel like this is a different group of people. This girl is telling legitimately what's going down, but she's trying to blame somebody else. But they're the ones doing it. Like, I feel like she was the group with the different drugs that their group doesn't normally do. But she doesn't want to look like a druggie to her friends that she's trying to, like, appeal. Like, yo, this shit's starting to add up, man. They're guilty. They did something to that girl. That's sad, man. And you can see it. They're juveniles. They're young, man. They don't understand what they're trying to pull over some... I don't know, man. This is getting interesting.
Aren't normally that fit.
How do you know? You was only there for 10 minutes.
Within the only 10 minutes that I...
Megs is telling not her story now. Now she's telling somebody else's story. I wonder whose fucking story she's telling.
A lot of older people started showing up that people didn't know. Like, a lot of drugs were involved, like drugs that we don't typically have just in parties. And our parties also just aren't normally that fit.
How do you know? You was only there for 10 minutes.
Within the only 10 minutes that I was there.
Here's my question. What in the fuck is up with everybody trying to push this man so many bad drugs that could...
I'm going to tell you why, homie. Because those kids that are doing these bad drugs were once in the clique of everybody else that weren't doing drugs. They were getting good grades. They were on the athletic teams. They were doing good things. They have reached the turning point where half of their clique runs off to the streets and the other half stays in the sheets or the books or whatever, however you want to word it. These kids are the kids that have transitioned into the drug life, into the illegal activity life, that are stealing, that are doing drugs. Like, they're the bad kids, man. They're the bad kids. They're that group of kids generation of adults that became bad people. I can't say bad people because drug addicts aren't necessarily bad people to make really bad choices at the time of being a drug addict. So I feel like these kids are afraid and ashamed of who they are. So they're placing blame like, oh, these random people showed up that were carrying all these drugs that we don't normally do because I don't want my friends to know that I'm snorting cocaine or smoking meth. So, or snorting meth. So these guys over here, they brought all the drugs. Man, get out of here.
Kill you possibly? Now let's move on to Sammy. This is where shit just gets like real weird.
Is this what can you confirm whether or not she was wearing this at the night of the party? Is that what she was wearing?
Yeah, so that top is exactly what I saw her in. If you can see on her left side, on her hip, you can see some skin. She was wearing a black bodysuit. I remember because we went to the bathroom together, peed in the woods together.
Yo, why? Okay, who wears a bodysuit under their clothes, right? And who sees that? Why is that important? Like, what does that have anything to do with anything? She's got a tank top on and pants on. I think she even says dicky pants. She's got a tank top on and dicky pants with a bodysuit underneath. Man, that's crazy, man. They have been groomed into saying one thing. Like, they all sat around and said, okay, if they ask what she was wearing a bodysuit with dicky pants and a white hoodie. And then the group of people change that they groom, and they go, she was wearing a bodysuit, dicky pants, a black spaghetti strap, and a black hoodie. So now you got two different stories floating around, and they didn't cover their shit, man. That's what happened. They stepped all in it, tracked it around, and forgot to wipe it up. So now they're like, oh, well, one's fake, one was a hoax, one was this. Like, I've never seen kids be able to run. Like, these kids in her age are trying to run the social media page for tips. Like, that's crazy, bro. I figured the FBI would have snatched these dudes up so quickly. Yeah, it's insane. Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
A couple of times, and
now let's move on to Sammy. This is where shit just gets, like, real weird.
Is this what can you confirm whether or not she was wearing this at the night of the party? Is that what she was wearing?
Yeah, so that top is exactly what I saw her in. If you can see on her left side, on her hip, you can see some skin. She was wearing a black bodysuit. I remember because we went to the bathroom together, peed in the woods together.
Yo, y'all see that on the screen, what she's talking about? That tiny little diamond of skin by her left pocket. If somebody can tell me that you can notice, oh, that's exactly the shirt she was wearing. She just had different jeans on, and see that little triangle of skin on her hip? There was a bodysuit there. Man, you don't know if it's a girdle, a bodysuit, granny panties. She pulls her panties up to her. I'm like, come on, man. How? That's what I'm saying. These police got to pick up on this shit. When you're telling a story and you're concerned about stressing the fact that there was a certain type of clothing and you're trying to make yourself believe that she has on a bodysuit, yo, that's suspect, man.
A couple of times, and so that's her shirt right there. The pants were different that she wore to the party. She was wearing green Dickies pants, but that belt is definitely what she's wearing too.
All right, Sammy. Well, there's just one problem I have with that, and it's the information that the cops released last night. You know, you're pretty good at describing, you know, exactly what she was wearing.
Right.
Even that belt, you know. The same kind of pants, just a different shade, kind of, you know. I know that in the dark. Different shade. It's not that navy blue. It's more like navy green.
Well, just a couple hours ago, the Placer County Sheriff released a new photo showing a sweatshirt Kiley was spotted wearing in a video recorded the night she disappeared.
That's kind of weird. Sammy, you know, that was with her all night since she got there, last person to see her. I don't know how she knows that she's the last person to see her since, you know,
Facts.
she left her at the party. But
Facts.
whatever. Damn. How did Sammy notice, you know, her belt in the dark and...
Yo, hold on. He said something really important because I forgot that I had to restart this. Yo, in the beginning, she said I was the last person to talk to her. Church just said it, and he's right, bro. Like, how do you know you were the last person to talk to her unless you were legitimately the last person that spoke a word into that girl's mouth before y'all killed her? Like, that's crazy, man. That is absolutely unbelievable. That, like, she's almost one day, if this, you know, like, you have all these big Gabby Petito, all these big missing person cases. Netflix makes documentaries and stuff all the time. If somebody makes a documentary about this and they go back and they look at all these tapes, I would be shocked to see that this girl had nothing to do with it. If they come out and say, look, Sammy had nothing to do with it, I'll be blown away. There is no way. Like, this girl is snitching on herself 11 days in. Nah, this is nuts. She's been snitching on herself, but everybody's really starting to see it now.
A new photo showing a sweatshirt Kiley was spotted wearing in a video recorded the night she disappeared.
That's kind of weird. Sammy, you know, that was with her all night since she got there, last person to see her. I don't know how she knows that she's the last person to see her.
And another thing, man, I don't know if y'all heard the conspiracy theory about that sweater, but somebody said that it was some rapper's clothing line, right? And there was some weird message behind that sweater. What do y'all think of that? I can't see the chat for some reason. I don't know why. I'm gonna see if this will help me. Nope. Maybe there's nothing there. But what do y'all think about that? Like, it's kind of weird, man, that like we have the Travis Scott and we have all these conspiracy theories with these rap artists that they're the Illuminati and all this and all that. Like, these kids are juveniles. Their minds in a different, like, what they believe, and then you introduce drugs. What they believe is reality and what people really believe are two different things, man. Like, here's reality over here, and here's what this generation, these younger kids truly believe. They think that everyone's out to get them. We all believe what we see on the news and social media and yada 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 and so on and so forth. It's sad, man. It really is. And I feel like these kids think, oh man, we'll give her a sweater. We'll say this sweater was what she was last seen in. It's got a subliminal message. Somebody's gonna pick this out and say, oh, maybe she was sold to sex trafficking. Like, that shit starts coming out. No, man, this girl was either murdered, kidnapped, or she ran away. And I think we've eliminated the ran away part. I think that part's pretty much not there anymore. I don't think this girl ran away. What did she run from? And if she did, you would think all these kids that are trying to get away with something would have used that by now. I figured that would have been their first excuse. I don't know. She was all strung out on drugs and she ran away. Or maybe that's why they have the party. Maybe the party is strictly to make her look like a bad person. Maybe they orchestrated this party, invited whoever. I would like to go back. I wish, and I'm sure they are, I would like to see who started this party. I would like to see whose idea it was to have this party, who started it. And if you find that person and it has anything to do with this group of people, that's kind of scary. Why would they start this big party and invite all these people that's going to bring shady people and drugs that they don't do in their group? Like, a lot of shit don't make sense, man.
Since, she left her at the party, but whatever. Damn. How did Sammy notice, her belt in the dark and her slightly different colored pants, but not the big fucking colorful pink and white hoodie?
On your last call, did she let you know who the quote-unquote friend was that was driving her home?
Yeah, so this is a common misconception.
This is also the part of the story that makes the most not sense.
She was not being driven home and she was not driving.
How do you know? You weren't there. You left already.
So,
oh my goodness.
At the end of the party, when I saw her, she was supposed to give me a ride home because I had asked her.
Whoa. She just said, when I saw her. Which one did you do? Did she call you on the phone or did you see her face to face? Like, oh man, I don't know.
To give me a ride home because I wanted to stay later.
You wanted to stay later, even though guys were forcing your friend Megs to do bong rips, and it was scary, you said.
There was a lot of guys that did approach us. Definitely, I was getting a gut feeling during that party that something just didn't feel right.
But she wanted to stay.
They were there, and how old some of these people were. From the amount of people who did show up, it was scary. She was supposed to give me a ride home because I had asked her to give me a ride home because I wanted to stay later.
I've never heard of a female being like, man, this sketches me out. My gut feeling.
Not only that, man, these girls were all older than her. At what point do you say, yo, we're getting the fuck out of here. These people are weird. There's too much drug use here. You don't need to be here. Let's go. The reason they don't is because they didn't give a shit. I don't think she was ever there. People can say what you want. Say, oh, her phone was there. We seen her there. No. Somebody wore a jacket that looked like her, and they put her out there. They took pictures. They posted on social media, and that was that. This girl didn't post anything about being at this party. Probably not, because they're going to say her mom wasn't supposed to know. Everybody wasn't supposed to know. I don't know, man. This sucks because the fact of the matter is this girl, whether she was at the party or not, at some point, there was a lot of people that either seen what went down. If it happened at the party, somebody took this girl from the party. There's a 16-year-old girl around, what'd they say, 200 people? So it's a 16-year-old girl, 200 people, and somebody took this girl and her car, rode off, and nobody seen anything. That's scary. So if that didn't happen, the next possible thing is before the party, they got into an altercation. They got into a fight. Something happened. They try to hurt this girl. and they killed her, or they flat out killed her, or she overdosed on drugs. Like that's I'm at the point right now where I'm torn between, did these older kids that were using drugs decide to get this girl high and she overdid it and they panicked and they're trying to cover it up. I don't, that's why I'm kind of confused. But then at the same time, I feel like eventually if that's what happened, that's going to come out quick. Like within the next couple weeks, if that's what happens, somebody's going to snitch. These kids are talking way too much around way too many people. Let a couple weekends go by. I think they're all graduated, pretty sure, or they're about to. Let a couple weekends go by, let a couple lunch breaks at school, depending on what's going on. They're going to tell on themselves. That's what's going to happen. They're already pretty much doing it right here.
Tells me to get the fuck out of here. What is up with all these weird people? I want to stay here longer.
I then realized later in the party that I believe she was drunk, and I knew she was drunk, and so I did not want her to be driving me home, because I know about drunk drivers and all that.
Once again, painting the picture of, oh man, she was like totally fucked up and drunk, like for real fucked up and drunk.
Right.
Yeah, and I figured she would be staying there, or she would find a ride home, because she's a smart girl.
Is that what you figured? Well, you said when y'all both went back to charge y'all's phones in Kiley's car, you talked about texting her mom. She texted her mom that she was coming home. That doesn't sound like, hey, I'm spending the night here in my car. It sounds like she's going home.
Yo, Church's ability to see through the bullshit is awesome, man. Like, he's looking through her bullshit. And he's right. Like, nothing in that statement said, I'm staying out and I'm sleeping in my car. She told her mother she was coming home. At what point do you go, hey, homegirl, you're wasted. You shouldn't be driving. I'm an adult. I ain't been drinking. I got a driver's license. I'll drive you home. They had no intentions of getting that girl home. They didn't want her to get home. They're painting a picture that this girl did not want to be in that town anymore, around those people, that she was strung out on drugs, she was an alcoholic, and she was rebelling. I wouldn't be surprised if now there comes out something that she didn't like school as much as she thought she did, and she wished she didn't graduate early and have to become an adult. Like, I'm waiting for that. That's what I feel like is going to be next. Somebody's going to come forward and they're going to try to clear everybody's name, and they're going to start trying to talk down on this girl that she did. Like, that's coming. That is coming. There's going to be somebody. Maybe the cousins. We'll get into the cousins here in a second.
Found her as I was leaving the party. I was making sure to find her, to tell her that I had another ride home, and that I loved her and I want to say bye, and for her to have fun at the party.
You want to know how I know something's up with two in particular people in this situation? Because something Mama Bear said. Yeah, Kiley's mom. You know, after I seen the police put out that picture of that hoodie, I was like, well, that's weird. The Sammy chick never fucking mentioned that hoodie. That's weird. But there was the other mystery hoodie, remember?
Deputies also shared two more pictures. The first picture shows a sweatshirt she was loaned.
What if that was a bullshit hoodie?
Loaned.
Put out as bullshit evidence. Or maybe somebody's hoodie used to frame somebody else for doing something.
Facts. I really truly believe that that's a hoodie they had around when they committed the crime, and they said, look, when it hit, movies, we'll generalize, we'll talk about a movie type situation, and yes, you can say it's a movie, it's not real. Wrong. Those people, those directors, those writers, they use stuff they've read about, stuff they've watched on the news. They create stories based off of shit like this. And that's what I see. I see these kids sitting back and going, oh my gosh, we just killed this girl. Now what do we do? Oh wait, we'll just say she was wearing this, and that. We'll create a party. We'll have a whole bunch of people out there that will say they're violent, they're crazy. We got boxing gloves. Don't you know when you're boxing, that's violent. Like, you have to kind of look at the whole picture of what's going on. They're trying to create an image of violence and drug use and sketchy people. What comes around with that? Murder, crime. Like, they're trying to create a narrative. Like, they are grooming us. They think they are. This is what they think they're doing. They think they're grooming us to believe that she was a bad kid, and she fell around the wrong people, got wrapped up in the wrong stuff. Who knows? Maybe she went to another state to do drugs. That's the picture they're trying to create. And nobody's really buying that shit. Church sees right through it. I mean, look at his face. Look. He's like, no, that shit is
I
crazy,
know what
man.
you're thinking. Oh, I don't think a hoodie's that important. Okay, well then watch what is said in this interview by Kylie's mom.
Then one of the most recent revelations was this shirt, this hoodie she was seen wearing. Did you know that she owned that shirt? Had you seen it before?
That sweater belongs to one of her good friends. Lana Del Rey is a musician who sings so eloquently and has so many beautiful lyrics that can be quoted and put on a shirt. I think that it's not helpful to go down any rabbit holes or follow any red herrings about,
Bam.
you know, a sweater from a
Bam.
concert that had a pretty picture on it.
My interpretation of what she just said is Mama Bear ain't buying nobody's bullshit about no hoodie. Last but not least,
Not only that, Mama Bear put on a good point. If there was that many people, I'm assuming this is in California where the concert was, there's that many people buying merch to this chick's concert, right? How many people have those jackets? So you're kind of creating a large, like, I know, okay, I got a Hurley jacket, whatever. There's a lot of Hurley jackets. I get that. But a concert that was in that town, that other chick probably has the same jacket. That's what my point is. There's a good possibility that the same group of friends all bought the same jackets. They had the same jackets laying in the houses or in the cars where this may have went down. So it would be real simple to look over and go, oh, she was wearing that jacket, that belt, because I'm going to describe somebody's belt like to a T. I don't even notice people wear belts and don't wear belts anymore. But then they'll use the excuse of, oh, we're women, fashion, yada, yada, yada. Look, I don't believe these girls. I don't believe them at all.
new mystery person. They're fucking creepy. They make everything creepier. So apparently, this mystery guy who sounds like he's hella older, he sounds like he's my age. His ass definitely don't sound 16. Had two mystery cousins at the party. He doesn't say their name. Even though he's talking about these two mystery cousins at this party, he's talking like he was there.
Well, she stayed later than them. But they didn't say, like, they didn't...
Oh, okay. Your mystery cousins who left before her said, yeah, she stayed later.
Yeah.
How do they know that she didn't leave 1 minute after? The fuck?
They did tell me that they didn't see her wearing a sweatshirt at that time.
There we go again with a sweatshirt comment from a guy that wasn't there.
Yeah. Hey, straight up. Not only that, like, why did they say anything about a sweatshirt? Why did they call your phone and say, look, we didn't see her anywhere? I mean, unless the reports were already out about the sweatshirt. But then again, like, I really, truly believe they're grooming whoever did this, whichever individuals, a group of individuals, they were all groomed by somebody. And that's who killed her. I'm telling you, man, whoever killed this girl is grooming these individuals to say whatever because they think that this girl, I would find the ringleader. I would find this group of kids and I would try to point out the person that uses the most command, the person that's saying they want to play first, the person that is trying to be the leader. I would find that leader and I would interrogate the crap out of him. The reason I say that, man, is whoever is orchestrating this whole thing is grooming them, is leading them to say what they're saying. And I truly believe I would start investigating the parents a little bit of these kids. Like, I would really look deep into their financial situation and their jobs is what I'd look for. It reminds me of the Gabby Petito case. I don't even want to say the dude's name. Y'all probably know who it is. Gabby Petito was a girl that was murdered in Utah. And the guy came all the way back down to Florida and hid in his parents' house. And they said they never seen him. And then he ended up killing himself. So it reminds me a lot of that. Like, I truly believe that somebody is trying to cover for their children. I think that's where the car is at. I think the body was disposed of. And I think the car is in a warehouse or a parking garage. Something covered. I don't think a parking garage, and if it is, it ain't public. I was just talking to somebody earlier on the phone, and if you really think about it, if you park her car in like an airplane hangar, in California is money, man. There's a lot of airports, there's a lot of private planes, there's a lot of covered parking spaces, warehouses, etc. So it wouldn't shock me if one of these warehouses had her vehicle in it. You can't see it, you can't identify it, you can't see it from the air. You don't really have probable cause to search it, so I wouldn't be shocked if her vehicle is never found. Maybe when the house is sold and somebody inherits the parking garage and they go, oh, whose car is this? I don't know, and it matches. I don't think it's ever going to be found. And Church is onto something about it being buried, and I wonder if there's a construction site within that 12 miles from point A to point B, point A to point C, point A, like a radius, 24-mile radius from the campground. I would look all around that campground and I would see if you can find a construction site, because you might find a body or you might find a vehicle. I look at the parents, see if any of the parents are construction workers, if any of them are foremans on job sites. You know, if they're building anything in that area that requires a deep trench to be dug, to be backfilled with concrete, anything that's going to conceal a vehicle or a body. That's where I would be looking. They may have already looked there. I don't think it happened anywhere near the campground. I think she was murdered prior to the party, like I said. But I want y'all to hear what this dude's about to say. This dude's about to make it really interesting.
Did they see her in a tank top, like the black? Yeah, spaghetti? She was wearing the bodysuit. Yeah, she was wearing the same outfit.
The bodysuit.
Wearing no sweatshirt.
Yeah, my mystery cousin seen her in the bodysuit. The same outfit, not a sweatshirt.
Did they see anybody?
Yo, I wonder if these people are talking about a bodysuit, because I mean, like a tank top tucked into her pants. But why is it so hard to stress that it's a bodysuit? It's a bodysuit. A bodysuit, we got a bodysuit, a jacket, a belt, and she's a drug addict. Like, where, and green dickies. You know, man, I don't know. That's not truly how I feel. Like, that there's nothing about that is important. Nothing.
Like creepy out there. Do people hook up out there, like right there in the woods too? Like do they? Oh, like I can't say the people. It's hard to explain.
Whose name can't you say, motherfucker?
Like there's okay. So when kids go out there, because I've been out there. I've partied in Tahoe. I don't party as much anymore because I got 3 kids now. But I know when they go out there, a lot of kids go out there. They don't go out there with the drugs. They don't go out there with the shrooms. Like they usually bring the alcohol. They get alcohol. The dudes who come out there, the older guys, they have the shrooms and the cocaine. And then the kids go hang out with that group, the older dudes, because they're giving them the blow and hooking them up with stuff that they can't afford because they don't really got the money for it. Most of the guys, they always want to give it to the girls. And it's being offered for free because they want the company and stuff. Yeah, for free. They give you free lines, but then they want you to kick it with them, you know?
Yeah. No, see, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of these, this guy is pushing the narrative again that they were outsiders that showed up to this place. They had drugs and cocaine. Like, how does he know they got cocaine? California, mushrooms and cannabis are both legal. They're both medical and recreational. So you already know that that's going to be there. You know marijuana and mushrooms are going to be there. So I wonder if those are the 2 drugs that are accepted in the first group. Like, if that's what they're used to seeing. Mushrooms, weed. It's in California. I'm sure those kids see it all the time. And the next group is into the cocaine, the methamphetamines, the hardcore street drugs that destroy your life. I wonder if that is the separation of these 2 groups, the drugs. I believe it is.
Like, oh, hey, come do a line with me. Come do a line with me. You know, that's how it goes. Those are how those parties are. Right. So there's no telling what could happen, but I do know for a fact she was messed up. That is a fact. So if they try to word it nicely, like, oh yeah, she was she was shit-faced.
How the fuck do you know?
Fact.
How the fuck do you know? Another thing, why are you laughing? This isn't funny. You just said you had 3 kids. I don't think you have 3 kids. If you had 3 kids, you wouldn't be laughing about a kid getting fucked up and being missing. Another thing, I really want to know who these 2 fucking cousins are, because there's only 2 other people I know of that was at this party that have laughed while talking about Kiley Rodni.
When she gets back, she's gonna know that you all damn love her so much. Like, yeah, woo!
That was very uncomfortable.
The first day that she was missing, I mean, I was literally in a car for 12 hours looking for her.
No offense, but do you want like a round of applause for doing something you're supposed to do? No one gives a fuck. Your friend's still missing.
And you're probably having different groups of people bring in their type of cocaine. So then they're all sharing amongst each other.
You know who else talked about sharing amongst each other? Sammy. You know who she talked about sharing stuff with?
Yeah.
Kiley.
Your cousins, they left around 10:30 or something like that.
Yeah, they left. She was still there, but I asked them if they saw her before they left, and they didn't.
Oh, okay.
To me, if I went out there now, like let's say if I went out there and I saw some older dudes and I knew a girl was 16, 17, and he's like, come do a line with me, I would think that's fucking creepy alone itself. Like, dude, why do you want to do a line with her?
There he goes beating his chest. There he goes trying to make himself look like he's superior of giving a younger girl drugs. Like he is trying to right what he knows is wrong, man. This dude is creepy as fuck. Like there's nothing, nah, man. Look, I'll tell you this. He said he knows for a fact that she was messed up. How do you know that? You weren't there. Church made it clear you were full of shit, right? Second, how do you know that these dudes were bringing cocaine? And how do you know that they were sharing like that? Like, I've never seen, I grew up in the ghettos, I grew up in the city, I had never seen anybody walk into a party with a bunch of people that they don't know and pull out a bag of cocaine and start dropping and chopping lines up on the table. Now, if they know there's a bunch of cokeheads there, then yes, but they're not rolling up into some party at a campground, walking up to the first car with the most people around it and start chopping up cocaine. And the people that don't do the cocaine, they for sure ain't gonna know everything that's going on, and they ain't gonna know for sure that it's even cocaine. Like, this dude was there. He was there. He was probably one of the dudes with the cocaine. I would not be surprised if this is the drug dealer, if this is the guy that gets him all the different kinds of cocaine. Because people that do cocaine know there's a whole bunch of different forms of powder cocaine. Different types, different cuts, different yada, 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 right? So how does this dude just know? Bringing all their different cocaines. You only know they're all different because you tried all of them. You know this one's different from that one. That's what you know. It's crazy, dude. Most people that don't do drugs go, oh, cocaine, it's just powder. Yeah. Depends on how many times it was stepped on. Depends on how many different people, where it came from in the country, in the world. Like these people are digging their hole so deep, and these cops are just letting them do it. And I love it, bro. These cops are working. They're sitting back and watching this, and they're going, These dudes are just solving the case for them. They're sending them all the leads they need. They're doing exactly what they need them to do.
Like 10 years younger than you, she's a minor.
If you were there, you said you've been there a bunch. You're talking like you were there.
Right.
Question, why the fuck would you go there? You have 3 kids, right? Why the fuck you finna go party with a bunch of kids? The fuck is wrong with you?
But when you basically decide to go out to that party, it's like all bets are off. Like everyone's okay with it.
This does not sound like somebody who has like...
You know what he sounds like? He sounds like the drug dealer that sold him the drugs, that found out that she did too much drugs, and now he's freaking out because he's like, yo, I just provided this minor cocaine. I just gave her friends all this cocaine to get her high on, and she died. So now it sounds like he's backpedaling around going, oh, no, there's so much different drugs there, and everybody just lets you come up and do their drugs for free. Like, yo, this is crazy, man. I truly believe that this dude has a lot more involvement than I thought earlier. Just listening to this and understanding what the situation is. And the next video that I'm about to show you after this, y'all, it's short, but I'm telling you what, it is crazy what Church did. And I shout out to Ryan Upchurch, man. That's so dope that you're using your platform to reach other people, man, because you never know. The right person sees it, just seeing the girl in a gas station, or finds a body or a vehicle or a tag. Yo, Creek Squad, there's a lot of us, so I appreciate you, bro.
You know, children and morals. No, when you're fucking 31 and you show up to a party, and if a kid's like, yo, cocaine, you go, no. And
right.
Then you look at yourself and you go, what am I doing here? I'm a fuck up. That's what you do.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So nobody would look at it as creepy.
First off, me and my friends would never be caught partying with children. Second off, if a child was at a party and we seen an older dude try to give the child coke, We're gonna kick your fucking ass, all of us.
But on the outside
Right.
looking in, you would think it's creepy.
No, there's no thinking it's creepy. It's fucking
It is.
creepy. It doesn't
It
matter
is,
how you
yeah.
look at it.
No.
This dude is trying to solidify it for his motherfucking self.
Right, right.
And someone said, what does blow mean? Blow is cocaine.
Is this dude being serious?
But somebody said, how
No,
could she have been wasted already? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people pregame sometimes too. We don't know what she did before she got there either.
Yeah, she was drinking pretty much the whole time.
Will somebody tell me why this bitch ass motherfucker is laughing?
Yeah, for real.
And how do you know, bitch? You said you wasn't fucking there.
Like, that's when I know when they saw her early in the day.
Oh, really? Who saw her early in the day? Your two imaginary cousins or Sammy and Megs?
Yo, upchurch. Yo, I wish. I'm gonna wait till the next video to tell you what I wish could happen.
I do know
you said
when
they
they
saw her earlier in the
before
day?
they left. Yeah, and she was drunk.
What do you mean earlier in the day?
Exactly.
Like before they left, like because they left around like 10:30 or 11.
Spinning.
So
Okay.
Before
He's spinning.
that, like I'll guess like around 8
Hold
or
on.
9, she was already drunk.
She got there either.
Yeah, she was.
Yo, listen to this. He says he is convincing himself that she was there and she was drunk. And then after he does that, you hear the wheel spinning as he's trying to make sure that he doesn't say anything wrong. And he doesn't know what to say, so he's like, she was, listen.
She was drinking pretty much the whole time.
Will somebody tell me why this bitch ass motherfucker is
Right?
laughing?
Listen.
And how do you know, bitch? You said you wasn't fucking there.
Like that's when I know when they saw her early in the day.
Oh, really? Who saw her early in the day? Your two imaginary cousins or Sammy and Megs?
They saw.
I do know
You said
when
they saw her earlier in the
before
day.
they left. Yeah, and she was drunk.
What do you mean earlier in the day?
Exactly.
Like before they left, like because they left around like 10:30 or 11. So
Okay.
before that, like I'll guess like around 8 or 9, she was already drunk.
Who's your fucking cousins?
And have the cousins
So when they
spoke
saw her,
to?
she was drunk.
Oh, okay.
That's what Sammy said. Is Sammy your fucking cousin?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I asked them, I was like, did you guys know her? Like, were you guys friends with her? But they had no type of connection with her whatsoever.
So your mystery cousins who don't know her whatsoever, don't have any association with her, just watched her the whole time, knew exactly what she was wearing,
Yeah.
when she was leaving, knew that she was drunk and wasted and probably doing coke and being a fucking raging crazy person. No. There's two people for show that's full of shit. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if y'all are watching this, which you probably are on your little social media fucking app, being like, I wonder what everyone's saying. The cops already know. You're fucked.
Facts.
You're fucked. You're gonna be busted. Y'all sloppy as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yo, this next video is crazy. So, Upchurch, I was listening to a podcast, a live podcast that was discussing this. Check this out. And church called in. This is the dude. So the video we were just watching, his podcast, this is his podcast that church watches, obviously. Check this out.
Y'all can believe this Ronnie dude who's talking about the Kiley Rodni case? I fucking don't. Here's why. Because he says two separate things when I'm talking to him versus talking to this other YouTuber.
Yo, listen to this.
Your cousin's like seen her doing drugs and like, drinking or whatever, and everybody's drinking and shit.
No, they didn't see her doing drugs. They didn't see her drinking. They saw her and she looked like she was drunk.
No. You said your cousin seen her all fucked up.
Yes, I just said that they seen her drunk. That doesn't mean they seen her drinking.
You have to drink to get
Yo.
drunk.
Don't know what she did before she got there either.
Yeah, she was drinking pretty much the whole time.
So your cousins, when they were leaving, they seen her sit there just like the Sammy girl, right?
No, like.
So your cousins, they left around 10:30 or something like that.
Yeah, they left. She was still there, but they didn't. I asked them if they saw her before they left, and they did.
They left. They didn't pay attention to her leave. They left, and so obviously I don't know. Like they just left. They left
Oh my gosh.
That doesn't mean like.
That's not what you said.
Are you trying to tell
Right.
me that my cousin saw her there when they were leaving?
You said he did.
Yeah, they left. She was still there, but they didn't. I asked them if they saw her before they left, and they did.
You said your cousin left and you still seen her there, right?
No, they did not see her when they left.
She was still there, but they didn't. I asked them if they saw her before they left.
Oh my gosh. No, he can't.
Oh, hold on. All right, let's chill. Let's chill, man. Let's chill.
Get him,
They
Church.
You said they saw her earlier in the day?
Get him.
Yeah, and she was drunk.
What do you mean earlier in the day?
Like before they left, like because they left around like 10:30 or 11. So
Okay.
before that, like I would guess like around 8 or 9.
That's weird. Your cousins are leaving as she's getting there. Not only that, how'd your cousins see her drinking the whole time? If there's like a 20-minute window of them being there. You're saying your cousins seen her at 8 and she was already drunk. Your cousins don't know her. She wasn't at the party then, fam. So how'd they see her drunk before she got to the party?
She was already drunk.
Yo, so Jen, no, he said that when they were at the party, when they left, she was still there. So they said that she was still at the party when they were there, and they never seen her again. They also said that she was drunk at 8 o'clock in the afternoon, and she wasn't even at the party yet. And these people don't have any clue who she is, so they're just proving that they were around her. Somebody was around her at 8 o'clock, and she was already drunk. So this dude is literally, I feel like he's in charge of what's going on. I feel like he's the one that's like, look, y'all keep your mouth shut. This is what's happened. This is a jacket. I'm going to tell him my cousin seen her there. No big deal. My cousins, they're, I mean, come on, man. A lot of this shit don't add up. I wonder if the police have reached out to this dude yet. I don't get it, man. And for anybody that truly thinks that these dudes are telling the truth, man, y'all are idiots. Y'all are straight up idiots. There is no way. I got kids. I've been a kid. They're lying. Straight up. There is such holes in this story. That dude Ronnie is 31 years old. I really think he's the drug dealer. I think Ronnie got them cocaine. So these are my two theories. 1 and 2. I believe that they killed, first theory, I believe they killed this girl. They tried to roughen her up and think they were going to do something and prove a point that they're the badass kids in the neighborhood and don't fuck with her, don't cross them, and don't tell nobody their bullshit. And something happened, maybe not for those reasons, maybe it was more, but we don't know that history. I believe something happened, they went too far with it and they killed her. That's theory 1. Theory 2 is, I think this girl might have been falling into drugs, and she started getting fucked up, and she started hanging around the wrong people, and they introduced her to drugs, and she took too much. And I think they had something to do with that. I think they knew that it was too much cocaine for one girl, whatever it may be. They were at a house somewhere, she got high, really high, and ended up not waking up. My mom had a friend in high school that did cocaine one time and her heart exploded and she died. So it's very plausible. It's something that could have happened. The Ronnie guy was probably the plug. He probably sold him the cocaine, got him the cocaine, whatever it may be, earlier in that day. So I think earlier in that day, these kids got high. This girl overdosed. They all panicked. They got rid of her body. They hid her car. The parents, Ronnie's parents, somebody covered up for them, hid that car off somewhere. And then after all that was done, they're like, okay, now what do we do? Her mom's going to wonder where she's at. Let's say that we're having a big party, yada, 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 and she's going to go. I don't know how they got her. I don't know if she called her mom, and if she did, I don't know how they got somebody to sound like her. I don't know what the girl sounds like. Yeah, he's 31. Ronnie's 31 years old. He's got 3 kids, and he knows all about cocaine. He knows that there's different types of cocaine. So that to me is just pointing that Ronnie is the cocaine plug. Ronnie is putting these kids on, getting these kids high. And I wouldn't be surprised if the cousins, that's Uncle Ronnie, don't you know? That's Uncle Ronnie. We used to get cocaine from Uncle Ronnie when we were in high school, almost in college. That's those type of uncles. You can hear it. So that's what I believe, man. I believe those are my 2 theories on this. Is that she either got killed, murdered for who she was, that she was successful, they try to prove a point. I hope it wasn't. I hope it was an overdose, an accidental overdose, and these kids are trying to cover it up. Because it would really be sad, man, that this girl was doing so good in her life, about to graduate at 16 years old, probably be a brain surgeon, and somebody took her life. It sucks, man. It really does. It's sad that that's a possibility. You know, like, life is so short. It's insane. And drugs, if drugs took her life, that's sad as well. It's sad all around. Something is not going to end up good. I don't see this girl just coming out after 11 days and be like, hey, look, I'm over here in Florida. I just drove all the way across the country with people looking for me at 16 years old. See, that's another thing. I don't think she ran away because of that reason. What do you do at 16? You can't go get a job. Everybody knows you. Everybody's looking for you. Everybody knows your name. You can't go rent an apartment. So they couldn't use that story. These kids knew, oh, she couldn't have ran away. Who'd she run away to? She don't know anybody. We don't know enough about her to say that she went to some dude in Louisiana, because there's no records of that. You know what I mean? So they used what they had. They had party. They had a spot. Uncle Ronnie knows that all these cocaine addicts hang around at the campgrounds. I don't think these 18-year-old kids even associate with the group of people that they were around. I don't think there was a group of people around. I think there was some people there, but I don't think it was associated with them, affiliated with them. I feel like they wandered up on a party and created a story. This is all a fabricated story. Or friends who use peer pressure to influence. Yeah. I don't... Look, there's a lot of holes in this story, but one thing I wish I knew more about is I wish I knew if this party who started the party? For sure. Like, was there... How do you get 200 people at a party? They had to have posted it on a social media, and if they didn't, there has to be some sort of records of cell phones. So one of those kids along the way had to have been sending mass amount of text messages, chain messages from a bunch of different kids. Hey, we're going to the campground to get drunk and high and do cocaine. In order for a bunch of cocaine addicts to come flocking to these high school kids' party, when you start breaking it down like that, it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make much sense. Like, I remember having parties when I was younger, at 17 years old, house parties, and we were all getting wasted, smoking weed. You know, and when that one group showed up with the cocaine, like, they were off in a bedroom, nobody ever seen them. So I don't think California is that much different with the amount of shame that goes into being a drug addict. Most people don't want you to know what they're doing. So I don't see these dudes walking around up to 16-year-old. Like Church said, man, if that's true, then all those people stood there and watched grown men give 16-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old girls drugs, bro. Like, a lot of that doesn't make any sense. I find it hard to believe that nobody would have said something. I really do. Yeah, that's what I mean. How do you get 200 people at a party? How do you get 200 people to show up in the middle of the woods at your campground party to get drunk and high, bring your own beer, and let everybody do cocaine with you? Yeah, YouTube don't like you, Cass. They don't like you, babe. They want you. No, I don't know why. That doesn't surprise me though, man, because it doesn't fit an agenda for me to talk about something like this, because I'm not a news outlet. But I am. I'm country rap news. Anyway, I'm not a news outlet. I'm not something that they can point and say, look, go listen to this guy. He's got the right story. I'm just an average Joe. Average Joe. Yeah, Snapchat. See, that's another thing. Snapchat could be exactly what they did it on. See, there's a map, a snap map, and now obviously it's too late. I wonder if during the time when all this went down, if you went over top of California to the park, if you could look at the stories and the hot spots to see if any of those kids posted anything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, cocaine ain't cheap, man. Like, when I was getting in trouble and doing my thing, that was like between $60 to $100 a gram, and a gram ain't that much. So you're gonna just walk around. I mean, we already know these kids are wealthy, and like growing up in Florida, man, we had Eastlake, and Eastlake was our like cocaine capital of Florida. for us kids. You know what I mean? Like when we went to East Lake parties, that's what we had to worry about: cocaine and ecstasy. We'd bring our weed and our beer, and we'd sit around and smoke, and all the cocaine and ecstasy kids would be way over there. Nobody was walking around going, here, you want any cocaine? You want any ecstasy? They wanted that shit. They wanted to do that. They don't, I mean, yeah, but you, come on, Jen, you got 200 pedos out there. You got, I mean, I get it, but cocaine don't make you tired. It ain't like these girls are going to get all tired and fall asleep and they're going to molest them. If anything, they're going to be like Jackie Chan, judo chopping motherfuckers. No, yeah, you're right. I get it. And it's true. It's true. I honestly don't think that if they seen that girl and they were all fucked up, they would care how old she was. They probably wouldn't ask. It'd probably be one of those don't ask, won't hurt me. It never hurt me because I didn't ask. And to be honest with you, I feel like if there was 200 grown people, look, this is what I'll say. Drug addicts are good people at heart, man. They really are. You can say what you want about a drug addict. You can talk your shit. You can say whatever. When the drugs are gone, they're still humans and they're still good people. Yes, there are bad ones. There are bad people. But under all that bullshit, most of the time, them dudes, women, people, they have hearts. So I don't see every one of these cocaine heads out there going, oh yeah, let's go after 16-year-old girls. Somebody had to have been like, yo, that's wrong. Regardless of what drugs I do, that's wrong. And all these kids at school that knew that this girl had such good grades and such a bright future, nobody steered her away from that situation. They're like, yo, we're out. You're too fucked up to drive. You stay here. We're going home to sleep in our beds. You sleep in the woods with a bunch of fucking weirdos that we don't know, and they're all doing drugs. Like that's what I'm saying. If anybody believes that, y'all are stupid, because there's no way that makes sense in reality. Like, that's not reality. That ain't. I would hope that if 200 people were standing at a party and my daughter showed up and she was 16 years old and cocaine came out, I would hope at least 50 people said, man, that's wrong, and 2 people fucking speak up. But yo, there's that thing they do on TV sometimes, and they leave like babies crying next to the fountain, and dudes and all types of people just walk past the baby like, oh, it ain't my problem, I ain't stopping. So I don't know, man. My faith in humanity is kind of lost. So I guess it's possible. I guess it could happen. It probably does happen all the time. But I wish it didn't. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not saying all of them are. My point is if we have 5 guys there pushing the influence, trying to get you high, trying to get you fucked up, you're going to tell me that there wasn't nobody standing around that disagreed with that situation and didn't know their power of these influencers or the power of these drug dealers and was like, look, let me take you under my wing. None of those dudes, nobody there, they all were just like, nope, feed her to the wolves, let her go. Like, that's crazy, man. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. But one thing I do know is I hope some closure comes for the family. I truly hope she's alive. I don't think she is. I just look at like facts and the situation of the amount of time that she's been gone. And unless somebody's got her tied up in a room and feeding her and providing her water and caring for her, chances are, and if you're going to take that much time, I don't know, man. Such a sensitive subject. But none of those people look like killers. And I know killers don't have a face. But they just don't seem to have that vibe. It seems like an accident happened. I compared it to Outer Banks. Outer Banks had, the high class people and the low class people, right? And all the high class people got in trouble. They had somebody always backing them to get them out of their situation. Whether it be hide a body, pay off somebody, there was something going on. The lower class people got in trouble, it was thrown to the wolves. I feel like this is the type of situation we have right now. Somebody in the group has some sort of influence, their parents, somebody, and they don't want to tarnish a name. So rather than come right out and be like, look, Ronnie gave his cousin too much cocaine and she did all the cocaine. I don't know what happened after that. Took your time, take your lumps. Uncle Ronnie go up the road for a couple years, call it a day. I don't know why their logic has went out the window when it comes to that situation. Maybe because they're in denial. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree. But see, I don't see this type of, like, all right, this is good. This goes back to what I'm saying. You're right. In a situation where I walked up to a party that I was not invited to, or that I was maybe invited to, but I brought more people, I don't see these dudes, 200 people, allowing these younger kids to infiltrate their party and just give them drugs. Like, I know, okay, I believe that happens all the time. But what I'm saying is I just don't see how they're aware of parties like this if they're not involved in that type of lifestyle. Somebody at that party knew that was going on. That group of friends, somebody in that group of friends does drugs. And they knew that was going to be there, and that's what they wanted. I believe it's that Sammy girl. I really do. I believe Sammy has got into drugs, and she doesn't want her friends and her peers to know. They already know, so she's trying to hide it. She don't want to admit it. Yeah, okay, alright, but check me out. What if that's the case? You mean to tell me nobody knows that? All these kids that were at that party, all these people, nobody knows that she's with an older dude. And her phone's off. No, she hasn't tried to communicate with nobody else. She hasn't reached out to anybody and said, hey, look, I'm with Billy and he's 27 and we're in Utah. This chick just said, you know what? I'm done living this life that I'm living. I'm just going to go to a party with a bunch of dudes doing drugs, and I'm just going to go be with a drug addict that does a bunch of drugs. Like, I don't see that, man. I don't know the girl like that. I don't know the situation. But based off somebody that goes to school and graduates high school at 16 years old, 2 years early, yeah, I agree, man. There's a possibility that she's off with another dude, I guess. It's a very slim chance. I really believe it's a slim chance. Like, any older guy that sees this situation unfolding, regardless of what you feel about this chick that you may have just met at a party, this dude's had to have seen something about this girl missing, unless he left California. Like, that's another part that doesn't make sense. So, okay, so you mean to tell me this guy found this girl in California and left California with her and ran off into the sunset, and she's 16 years old? I mean, what does she really truly have to offer? I think if that was the case, somebody by now would have came forth and said, look, I met this girl at a party. She told me she was 19. She's with me. Y'all want her, come get her. I ain't about losing my life and my freedom over some girl wanting to get high. You know, but that's the reality of a sober person. And I keep trying to put that in the back of my head and remember that these are thoughts from a sober individual, not somebody intoxicated on drugs. But with that being said, y'all, I got to work tomorrow. And I want to go see if there's any more updates on this. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank you. Let's find this girl, man. If you have your own theories, man, post them. Go on Church's thing and post what your theory is. Let him know, man. Talk to him about it. You know, sometimes just pushing ideas around is where you get good theories. You get good, you know, you might say something and somebody hears the way you say it or the way you interpret it and they think a different way, and you post that. It might lead to a common solution, man. It really might. I see, that's why they have all these yeah, well, that's the only thing that really truly doesn't make much sense to me. Like, every one of these kids that were supposedly there all have a different story. They all have a different scenario. This girl must have been a superstar at that party. You know, we got the two cousins that are watching her every move. Yo, why don't we ask those two cousins who she was with? I bet you they got a different story. You know, there's always something. Ronnie sounds like Ronnie stayed at home. I think Ronnie stayed at home because there was no need for him to go to this party. I feel like this girl died prior to the party, whether it was an overdose or they killed this girl. If it was an overdose, it makes a lot of sense, because then we got Uncle Ronnie that's been slinging cocaine and going to these parties at this campground that says, look, y'all have a party, go to the campground. There's always people there doing drugs. We'll say she went there drunk at 8 o'clock. That they already fucked up because she wasn't there by 8. She went there at 8, drunk already. We couldn't get her to stop drinking. She kept drinking. She got really drunk. Nobody wanted to ride home with her. Everyone left her. She was doing cocaine when we left. She was still there when we all left. And there she was all by herself at 16 years old with her car, going to sleep in the woods after she just told her mom she was going home. Like, you put all that together and you're like, yo, so you mean to tell me that every one of these kids left this girl there high on drugs, and here comes Uncle Ronnie talking about, oh, they're all creepos, they're all, yeah, he's painting a picture for you to fall into and believe that this place is nothing but drug addicts, alcohol, drugs, cocaine, nothing like what they do. They do weed and mushrooms. They didn't have none of that there. These were all strictly cocaine addicts. They all showed up to this spot. They all get fucked up. Let's go hang out at this spot. Uncle Ronnie, if Uncle Ronnie's the cocaine peddler, that makes a lot of sense, man. Uncle Ronnie's like, look, y'all, you better go to this cocaine party, because when they find this girl buried in a hole out here, she's going to have cocaine in her system. So y'all better make it look like she did cocaine and somebody killed her and buried her in this hole. Or make her look like a crazy drug addict that would run off into another state with an older man to do drugs because she was sick and tired of what her mom makes her do and all her schoolwork and yada yada yada. Like, they're painting a picture. And I don't believe anything they say other than they did some shit they shouldn't have done, and now they are trying to cover their tracks. That's what I believe. Whether she overdosed or they killed her, they did something and they know what happened to her. They're not saying anything, and they're all going to go to prison for it. And whoever is the ringleader of the whole situation, if nobody striked her, hit her, the sad reality of this is if nobody physically killed her and it was a drug overdose, there's a good chance that a lot of these people get a slap on the wrist. So I hope, if she is dead, that it wasn't a drug overdose. But it's sad because that's what after all of my analyzing, I feel like I said, they either killed her or she overdosed. And if they killed her, they're using the drugs as a way to say it was somebody else. Like, they're trying to paint this mystery person that killed this person, then nobody knows who this person is, and none of us remember anything because none of us didn't know anybody there. Like, they're trying to eliminate themselves as a suspect so that when they find this girl's body, they start looking for all these random dudes at this party that nobody knows of. It's crazy, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you share this. Make sure you go read about this girl, check out videos, watch for upchurchs drop updates, and make sure you tune in Wednesday for Country Rap News. Hey, Jen, I got Burden in there. I got him in there twice. Got Burden in there twice, so watch out for that. Wednesday, Country Rap News with Captain Kurt. We got Burden. We got JJ Hughes. We got Catfish Cooley. We got Upchurch in there. We got a lot of people in there, so come check me out. Tonight at midnight, Ski Mask Cowboy drops his cover, so go check that out. Yo, this dude did a song from the 60s. Ski Mask Cowboy's about to show his range on that. I appreciate y'all for watching. If you get some time, go on over to my YouTube channel and sub to that. I appreciate y'all. Much love, and remember, be nice to one another. Oh, I ain't out yet.